Welcome to the 16th week after Pentecost. It is Wednesday, September the 11th, 2024. This is the Manna at the Tap podcast, where we as a community actively seek the spiritual nourishment our souls crave. I'm Gloria, your fellow traveler on this spiritual journey, and together we offer and receive insights and interpretations from the daily lectionary readings, which provide the manna designed to nurture our spiritual growth. Today, we're back in the book of Proverbs, and the lectionary reading is Proverbs 14, verses 1 to 9. Solomon observed a contrast between a wise woman and a foolish woman. The word wise is used to describe those who follow God, and the word foolish describes those who reject God. His observation concerned the influence of women in the home. The wise woman constructs a stable, generous, and intelligent home. She blesses her home and her family. She creates a physically, emotionally, and spiritually healthy home environment for the family as she attends to her own relationship with the Lord by investing and using her time wisely, and is mindful of the needs of her household. On the other hand, the foolish woman is loud, selfish, and ignorant. She's unconcerned about her family's needs and does not honor the Lord. Rather than building up her family, her actions tear them down, and her decision making destroys her home. She demonstrates her violence and destructive nature. Another contrast Solomon observed is that the person who fears and honors God is conscious of their actions and God's faithfulness. On the contrary, those who follow their passions and desires will not obey God and will despise God's ways. The following contrast observed is of a proud fool who exposes themselves as having no wisdom in their head, and is one who fails to control the words coming out of their mouth. The person's thoughtless words are a recipe for disaster, hurting others and eventually hurting them. On the other hand, a person who's wise has gracious speech, and they keep themselves out of trouble. James 1:19 suggests that a person be slow to speak. It will keep us from becoming angry. Now, oxen in the Bible symbolizes strength, diligence, patience, and stubbornness. Scarcity results from having a clean and empty manger and no oxen. However, having abundant crops will require the strength of an ox so they can plow the field, which will be a mess, but the result will be a harvest. When we experience life challenges, it may lead to something extraordinary that makes the difficulty and hard work worth it. Now, the contrast is between deception and lies and honesty and truth about legal matters. Solomon was keenly aware of the importance of reliable witnesses, and he warned a false witness would be punished for lying, and liars would perish. And so we are called to embody the character of God by speaking truthfully and living with integrity. A person who resents correction and instruction and despises those correcting and instructing them is actually mocking wisdom. And one wonders why they cannot find wisdom. They are arrogant and close-minded, believing they have nothing to gain from seeking and embracing wisdom. On the other hand, the ease of acquiring knowledge will come to the one who is open in heart and in mind, making it easy to comprehend and apply wisdom. Knowledge and true wisdom comes from a place of humility and an eagerness to learn and grow. The advice is to avoid being around fools who reject God's truth and wisdom. They are toxic for your spiritual health, and they provide nothing meaningful to you. One has to be aware of who is being influenced by foolish ways. Now, the prudent and wise person thinks things through carefully before making a decision. They do not rush because they want to be led by God and will ask to be guided. Fools who ignore godly wisdom rush into situations without thinking through the consequences, and they will discover that their folly has tripped them up. The foolish person does not believe in guilt and does not want to admit it exists. They continue their sinful actions, assuming no price to be paid for sin. Guilt is real, and it attaches itself to the life of the person who does not respect God's moral boundaries. But there awaits those who delight and take pleasure in walking upright before God. They enjoy the fruits of good relationships and the opportunity to do good.